Hello and welcome to the Billingham Forum Ice Arena and welcome to Stars Talk. So joining me on the show tonight we have NHL radio commentator Anthony Lowe, number 32 Michael Elder, number 36 Callum Davies, and Stars General Manager Alan Flavel. So coming up on the show, double defeat on the road, tough competition from the Sharks and Hawks meant the Stars weren't able to come away with the result they were hoping for. But a much better result this weekend, beating league rivals and champions Blackburn Hawks by 3-2. We'll be looking at the highlights of the highlights, Callum Davies' goal that should have been and Michael Elder's trickling goal. And finally we'll be looking ahead to this weekend's home game against the Solway Sharks, where there'll be no doubt of the Stars wanting to redeem themselves from the previous game. So we'll start by having a brief look at the weekend before last, and we had a double away weekend. Michael, not the best results. Do you think that was kind of a start of season nerves for the Stars?
Yeah, we went to D-side on the first weekend of the season, a bit of a unknown team. They've come up from Division 2. And 8-1 didn't really reflect them as a team. Obviously, we know that they've just beat Telford at the weekend, so I don't really think they were playing at the best of their ability. And then I think we went into a little bit too much confidence, having scored 8 goals the weekend before. And we just couldn't find the net. We had plenty of opportunities, but only managed 2 goals of the weekend, which unfortunately in this league is not good enough.
And the Sharks game did only end with 3-1 scoreline, Anthony. Do you think the Sharks deserved that win?
I think in the end they probably did deserve the win. They stayed more compact defensively and played really well in their own end of the ice and limited the shots that the Stars had.
And Callum, the game did actually start off quite well for the Stars, but more and more towards the end it got more frustrating and we couldn't just get those goals that we needed, could we?
Yeah, they seem to have recruited pretty well over the summer, especially in defence. I think Mikey touched on it there, that they're a bit of an unknown team this year compared to what we've seen in the past. So I think coming into this weekend now, we're going to have a bit more up front and know how to play against them. So hopefully take the points this weekend.
And Alan, we had a few issues with the officiating as far as I'm aware from listening to the commentary on NHL radio. Do you think that if things had been a bit more polished in terms of giving the right calls, then the result would have been different?
I take it regarding the incident we had up at Solway. Yes, I think a more professional manner from the referee wouldn't have gone amiss. There was no excuse for our behaviour on the bench sort of thing. So that 5-minute penalty at the end of the game cost us heavily with only 5 minutes to go. We were basically on a penalty kill for the last 5 minutes, which really scuppered any chance of getting back into the game. But these lads in the stripes are professionals and they're going to conduct themselves that way.
So Blackburn then, it's a rink that we went to and we broke their 2-year undefeated streak and winning the cup as well. But Alan, weekend before last, just not able to keep up that kind of performance.
No, we made a couple of mistakes early on at the back and it cost us dearly. And then we had to open the game up trying to chase the game, and the more we did that, the more mistakes we were making sort of thing. So it was one of those situations where they capitalised on their chances and unfortunately we couldn't take ours, It was just one of those frustrating, disappointing weekends.
And Callum, obviously travelling to Blackburn, it must be a bit tough knowing that you're going to be going onto the ice and facing, based off last year, what is a well-polished team.
Yeah, again, another sort of new look outfit this year, so not so much what we were facing last season, but it's always quite tough getting the legs going in the first period up there, especially with a long trip. But I think we put in a good performance up there, just unfortunately, like Alan said, a few defensive lapses and not taking our chances, myself included, so cost us big time in the end, yeah.
And we did get a couple of goals, though. Michael, you got an assist on the first one of those. Do you think that that first goal kind of gave the team a bit more of an edge and the motivation that was needed to pick up the spirits, essentially?
Yeah, I think we were trying to be a little too cute and trying to look for the pretty goal all the time. So I mean, Cal and Chris had a word, and you just gotta outwork them in situations like that. In a tough game, in a 1-goal game, you just gotta outwork the team, and hopefully bounces go your way. Luckily on that play, I think we hemmed them in the zone for about a minute and a half, and they were just getting tired. Pass went down to Chris. Chris walked out in front, and then it kind of got us going a bit. It got all the lads going, got the bench going, and then we kind of kicked on from there. We just couldn't obviously find that next goal to put us ahead.
And for both of you then, we did have the Hawks got 2 power play goals, and then we pulled James Fowler at the end, and they got another goal out of that. But without those penalties to give them those power play opportunities, then we wouldn't have had to pull James Fowler. It could have potentially been a 2-2 draw, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. It's you don't really have much time to make a decision whether you're going to pull the goalie or not. You just kind of gotta say yes or no. Obviously, when we do pull the goalie, we're showing another team that we are intending on. We're going to try and tie this game up. Fortunately, we got that goal. Chris got a second goal. I think it was just a little too late, and the game had already gone by then, unfortunately.
And Anthony, we have already touched on kind of the fresh look at Blackburn, but obviously Matt Darlow in our interview this weekend said that they'd been gelling together quite well. Do you think we're going to see a similar performance coming out of Blackburn as we did last year?
No, I don't think the Hawks will be the dominant force they were last year. They've had really wholesale changes to the squad, bringing in a lot of young guys, so it'll take them some time to get gelled together properly and to be playing the way Matt wants them to. It's also going to be difficult for them because they seem to be rolling 2 lines a lot, so how that tolls on their legs, I think it showed at the Forum on Sunday how much it had taken out of them having a double weekend and rolling 2 lines, because the likes of Patrick Nyman looked very, very leggy, the same with Steve Duncan, who only signed late. So I think that could be a major issue for them as the season goes on.
And as you have touched upon it, moving on to this weekend, it was quite the spectacle. The first home game of the season and the 3-2 win against the Hawks. Alan, the scoreline that you were expecting out of that game?
Well, all we needed to do was get the win, and that's what we got. I did think we might have scored 1 or 2 more goals, to be fair, but I was happy that we got the result. I probably didn't give Blackburn the credit they deserved in the first game that we played. I thought they were lucky to get the win, but I thought they played very well this weekend. We had to work really hard for the win. I thought it was reasonably comfortable as the game wore on. It hadn't been a game for a couple of penalty situations, then they probably wouldn't have got the second goal to get back into the game. But I was pleased overall with the result.
And the result could have been very different as the Hawks managed to secure a breakaway. And of course, James Fowler rocketing out of his net to take out Aaron Davies from the Hawks. Let's take a look at that.
Just as you say that, he gives up an opportunity, and there's a chance. James Flavel flies out, excellent from Flavel, but there's still a chance. Oh, what a fantastic effort from Michael Elder, and James Flavel's going to get a tripping penalty, I believe. Yeah, Flavel takes a tripping penalty as he dove back to try and get into his net. Excellent
quick thinking from both Michael Elder and James Flavel, but Dan Pambiork's gone straight over to Flavel there, gave him a tap on the pads and said, I think it was a thank you very much for that one.
So, wow, that was quite the choice to do, and unfortunately a penalty for James Flav out of that one as well. But Michael, as much as we say Super Flav, you were actually the one who swiped the puck out of the way of the goal for the second Hawk that was coming for the puck. Talk us through that thought process.
Well, obviously James came out and the puck rocketed up in the air. And I think one of their players grabbed it and he tries to place it back down. I wasn't sure whether he was trying to shoot it or pass it. I think they had a player coming in towards the back door. So, I mean, it was just an instinct move. We just dive, hopefully get a piece of it. And then suddenly we got the puck, but obviously James got called for the penalty.
And we can't really continue without giving yourself a bit of the limelight as well, because you did secure that third goal. That was the difference between it being a win and a tie. So let's have a look at your fantastic goal.
Now, chance for the Stars to break. Forward comes Michael Elder down the right hand side. He's got Chris Sykes all the way across. It just drops off. Here's Elder. Takes the shot. It's a goal!
Straight through him.
Trickled through. Stewie Ashton.
Brilliant passing play from the Stars, though. Straight from their own blue line. It was carried well forward by Cal Davies, then across to Sykes, and then Sykes teed it off for Michael Elder. The brilliant finish.
So a fantastic setup for that goal. Of course, you had Callum and Chris working with you on that one. A surprise for Blackburn as well, for it to trickle across the line. Must be good to get those kind of surprise goals that you don't expect.
Yeah, especially when you're in those situations. I mean, it was at the top of the slot, and you know you're not going to get time in this league to pick your spot almost. So you just got to try and get the puck towards the net as quick as possible. And I think Cal was the screening in front, and we've talked about it a lot, get traffic in front. I mean, the goalies are getting better every year in this league, so if you let them see the puck, 9 times out of 10 they're going to stop it. It's got to be a very good shot to beat them. So a bit of traffic in front and anything can happen, really.
And Anthony, we saw the Hawks not performing at their best at the game on Sunday. In terms of kind of Billingham's performance as well as the Hawks, what do you think happened in terms of their performance, really?
Well, Billingham played sort of really well after the first 5 minutes. The Hawks came out flying, really. They had a few really good opportunities to start the game, but then as we grew into the game, we then took the ascendancy and really took the game to them and bossed it for probably a good 40 minutes of the game, I would say, at least. And then it was even for a short period in the third. But then again, towards the end, when they were really pressing to try and get that final goal to tie it up, we managed to play some really good hockey and keep the puck as far down their end as possible. Ben Davo had one noticeably good shift where he got the puck right in deep and held it along the boards. So yeah, it was a really good team performance from the Stars.
And Callum, a great performance from yourself, and of course securing your man of the match on the night as well, but a great performance around from the whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what needs to be done, especially on home ice. You've got to expect to take 2 points no matter who you're playing. But we knew that they had a tough game against Whitley Bay the night before. We knew they came with short numbers. Like AJ said, they just rolled 2 lines, so we knew the plan was essentially to go out and take the body as much as possible to break them down. I think towards the end of the game it paid off in the end.
So highlights of the game then, starting with yourself, Anthony. What was your standout moment from the Hawks game?
Well, I think really the commentary that I put in summed it up. Ben Davo's goal right at the end of the period. He burst down the left wing, went past a couple of languishing Hawks and then fired it into the back of the net. And I nearly broke people's ears, I think, with the noise that came out of me on the radio. So yeah, that was definitely my standout moment.
And Michael?
I think my highlight's got to be Cal missing that shot.
Stars are really targeting Kenny
Cooper
Witter.
Shoot through traffic, rebound.
Great save.
What a save that is! What the Stars?
Oh, it's a goal.
It's a goal. I thought it was in the glove. It's in the glove.
He saved it.
The Stars. The light came on. The Stars.
He definitely saved it. It was a brilliant save from Stewie Ashton.
Yeah, that was to me. Chris Sykes is trying to claim that it went in, but to me, that hasn't gone in.
I don't really think he expected to be in that position. He's not normally in that position. He's normally either passing it to me or Chris. So a definite one he's not going to forget.
Thank you.
Follow that on then, Callum. Not Michael's goal.
Yeah, no, not now. Anyway, I think, like AJ said, Ben Davo's solo effort, should we say, right at the end of that period, give us a lot of momentum. But also, this one's big save, should we say, that also helped out in the long run. So, quite a few good points from that game.
And Alan?
Yeah, well, I think the all-round performance from Ben Davo at the weekend game was fantastic, and he just went route one. You know, the lads were shouting, to just to ice the puck and what have you, but he just kept on going route one and got a great shot away, and yeah, lovely goal. So we need to do a little bit more of that route one and try and get into the killing zone and get some shots on the net.
So looking to this weekend then, we're going to be facing the Sharks at home. Do you think we're going to be able to carry this energy and fight that we've got forward to get some better results from that?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think we can make the Forum a fortress for the Stars. It's a smaller ice pad. We used to train. Well, obviously we train on this on a regular basis, so we're a little bit more comfortable at home. And we've got the backing of a fantastic crowd. I mean, it was a full house again on Sunday, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get some, the same sort of numbers here. So it does help having the fans behind you all the way at home as well.
A little bit of a rough tactic for Solway the weekend before last as well, Anthony. What do you think we can expect from their side on Sunday?
It's a difficult one with Solway on away games because quite often over the last couple of seasons they've travelled quite light, so you haven't really known who you're going to be facing up against, so you've got to really pay attention to the warm-ups and see who's actually on the ice, and then it's working out your plans from there, I think. We know they're very strong on the back end. They've got a really strong decor, so it just depends how we are able to get into the zone, get set up and try and get them moving around and try and get them out of position a little bit more, I think.
And Callum, yourself and the rest of the team will really want to get out there and show Solway that last time was a one-off.
Yeah, well, I genuinely believe that it was a one-off. I mean, like AJ said, we didn't really know what was to expect from them, especially in their place. It's always a hard ring to go and play in, but I think we definitely owe them after last time. We know what to expect from them this time round, and I think we definitely have what it takes to break them down.
So a lot of shots as well from the Sharks last time, 57 compared to the 42 from the Stars. Michael, yourself and the rest of the forwards will be wanting to create more offensive opportunities and get the puck to the net.
Yeah, I think we did speak about this after the Solway game. We had an awful lot of shots. They just weren't quality shots. We were shooting from wide angles, and like I said earlier on, that goalies in this league aren't going to get beaten from those type of shots. I think we've got to work more, getting more presence in front of the net and really testing the goalies, and then hopefully those 57 shots will turn into more goals than just one.
And Anthony, we saw that Solway unable to play their primary netminder as well, Hobbins. Not sure whether he's going to be coming with them this weekend, but if not, do you think that we can maybe get a few more goals past him?
Well, I mean, Hobbins has come on leaps and bounds. He's someone that was seen very much as a backup, and then when they were let down at the last minute last season, he really stepped up and did a job for them then. He started this season really well when he's back playing. Got a really high save percentage at the moment, I think over 94% at the minute. But in his absence, young Callum Hepburn, the under-20s netminder for Solway, did a fantastic job, I thought, against the Stars. Big body, very little space to get past him, and he played a blinder, so they've got some really good options in net. So it's going to take a lot of effort from the boys sat next to me to get him moving side to side, I think, whoever's in net.
Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for here on Stars Talk. But Anthony, Michael, Callum and Alan, thank you very much for joining us this week. So thank you for watching Stars Talk. We will be back next week and we will be discussing this weekend's Solway Sharks game, as well as looking forward to our next game, which will be against our local rivals, of course, the Whitley Warriors. Do keep in the loop with Billingham Stars TV on Facebook, also at Billingham TV on Twitter as well. You can get all the links to our various social media at www.starstv.co.uk. But until next time, thanks for watching.